It's Gypsy Man, and I guess it's been a while since I made a video, but here we are. And I got three guns to clean today. I got my Mistress, I got Sendem, and I have Bambi. So let's start off with my Mistress, and we put the Glocks away, and we'll deal with just these two. Now those two were my EDC guns, and it's not often that I, be honest with you, that I even shoot them. But I decided I wanted to shoot from the from my appendix. So I brought them out, put them through their paces, and of course, like I expected, they work perfectly with any type of ammo that I put in them. Hollow point, FMJs, it doesn't matter. That's Glock for you, right? I never have to worry about what ammo I put in there. Although I do use ammo that is reputable, and I don't use some garbage. So what I want to talk about today, though, was I don't know. I guess the natural ability to shoot better than others. And I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for everybody out there that just don't understand why the concept of shooting, it ain't even the concept. It's like literally a gift that you can just aim the gun quickly and not just standing still static. I mean, like moving, you know, you just really laying in the A zones, right? And few D's and hardly any misses. When you compare yourself to some of the other club members or some of the other competitors that you're going against, and they seem to be struggling, although it looks like, you know, they did very well. When you go to add up the scores and look at what they didn't do very well. And you're like, okay, I moved this just about the same way they do, maybe a little bit more athletic, maybe. But these guys are younger, you know, they're moving. They look like they're moving quick, but I don't know if that's that youth, that excitement that lets them say that I'm young, I'm going to move quickly, and I'm going to shoot faster. Maybe that leads to more misses. I don't know, but I see it when I'm an older shooter, so I'm looking at these young guys shoot because I want to not teach them something because I definitely can't match their effort. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bust my knee wide open or these old nagging injuries from when I used to play ball come back to me and remind me that you need to slow your ass down and let them run around, and you need to see what they're doing wrong and improve on what they're doing wrong because they're going so fast, right? They got all the youth, so you got to outsmart them. So that's how I look at it when in the competition setting. Now, in a more realistic scenario, it just comes down to experience, right? What you've been involved in, how much training you've had, real life training and application, and just outsmarting the threat. But with whatever skills that you may have. Now, as far as like dealing with in a competition setting, it's just basically improving on the things, being more efficient, and anything if you know anything about competition shooting, I don't care how much you weigh, I don't care how badly you move. It's all about efficiency. Like, you think you're going to shoot faster and have a lower score, hit factor than a larger size frame person. But you look at the score and they just blew you out the water because they're efficient. It ain't about how strong you can burst out of a position, right? Maybe you overcommitted. But going back to the topic of why some people are just naturally better shooters. And I mean, I'm going to age myself a little bit, but when I realized that I can actually do a little bit of shooting was back in the 80s. Like, I was playing duck hunt. And even on duck hunt, I shot with both eyes open and really just was target focused and never looked through the sights. But I never thought anything about it, and then, I get into the professional world where you have to deal with firearms on a regular basis, on an everyday basis. And you start to see that everybody, I don't know if they just don't take it as serious. I feel like a lot of people don't take shooting as serious as I do, which is why my community is so small. And even the people that you work with, you would hope that they would take it more serious, but you know, people's priorities are their priorities, you know. But if you're in an environment where you have to look after each other, I would hope that they would take it a little bit more seriously. But hey, that's neither here nor there. And you can't do anything but be responsible for yourself. You can make comments here or there. You can invite people out, but that's all you can do. But even in that setting, if you had ever had to be in a setting where you had to qualify, and everybody around you is just, to be honest with you, they're doing piss poor, just mediocre, right? Barely making it, or just kind of in the mid level of shooting. And you know, you're trying your damnedest to be. I'm just gonna be frank with you. Try to be better than everybody else that you have to work with, right? Because everything's a competition. That's my fault. That is nobody else's fault. Most times they don't even know they're in a competition, but I do. So even though they don't know, you still have to perform, right? And you want to perform at a high level. Now, going back to what I said about the concept of shooting, some people may not understand the concept of shooting. I think that is a very good place to start, learning about the concepts of shooting. And once you understand the concept of shooting, I think that's half the battle, because we're talking about the fundamentals. We're talking about the things that, you know, once you got them, you can move on to the next skill, the next thing you want to focus on in your shooting. You know, you don't have to just dwell on, okay, am I standing right, or are my sights aligned? Because to be honest with you, I don't even think about aligning my sights at this point in my shooting. The first thing, and mostly the only thing I think about, is how good my grip is. And if that feels good, then I know the shots are going to be where I want them to be at my level. Now, for people starting out, grasp those concepts. I think what's important is just knowing how to shoot, which is very important in the beginning. Knowing how to shoot. When I say knowing how to shoot, that's all the fundamentals. Knowing how to align your sights, knowing about your stance, knowing about your a little bit about grip. I think when you get more advanced, you start to focus more on grip. And that's when it should really be, you know, I like people to start off in the beginning with the things that took me and maybe other people in a professional setting a lot of years to develop. And you can teach somebody the first, you know, right away how to do it correctly. And you know, you've done all the work for them, and then they'll get it, you know, that much faster and without making all the mistakes that you had to work through. And that's how I look at, you know, shooting. But for beginners. But you know, I try to understand some people just really have it natural. I have people that I deal with that are just natural shooters. Like, you don't have to focus so much on teaching them how to align their sights. You're just focusing more on their getting a better understanding of grip and how important stance is, you know, natural point of aim, things like that, of that nature. And then they start to really get it. And then you start to introduce, you know, drawing out the holster and things like that. And then you introduce, you know, movement to the shooting. And when you start to move, you know, you're really starting to really get advanced and stepping on becoming, you know, a master at your style of shooting, whatever works for you, because everybody's a little bit different. But there are some better ways, but hey, you can't teach all old dogs new tricks. So, you know, as I clean up these guns, I just wanted to talk about that and what people thought about. Like, some people just can just shoot their asses off, you know. You know, it don't seem like they put, it's just a lot of effort into the shooting. It just becomes a lot more smoother. I think that's what the difference is between a professional shooter, competitive or in the world, and people who just do it for, you know, for kicks. And it's that no wasted movement, just that smoothness. Like, it just looks like smooth. It looks like they're gliding out there, like movement. Like, I don't focus on what my feet are doing, and I just thank my background in sports on doing that. I was a basketball player, so footwork was always instilled and learned. And after a while, you don't have to think about what your feet are doing. They just do it, right? Some people may have to, and I see people on the internet all the time, they have to talk about that and think about that, and they got names for it. And I'm like, just do it, but everybody's not like that. I understand some people didn't grow up playing sports, so yes, they have to do those things. But it's just something, man. It's just like, people have talent, and then you add work behind it. What if talent works hard, man? You got yourself a problem. So, do I think everybody can get to a certain level of shooting? Sure, they can. They're gonna have to put a lot more hours into it than some people do. I think that there are people out there that are master shooters, that are incredible shooters, but I can't imagine how much of their lives they sacrifice in order to do that. Dry firing every day for hours. you know you know I just, who has the time to do something like that? So, some people just really obsess about things. I mean, like, just normal folk that just want to do it for enjoyment and not so much let it take over your lives. Because I can imagine just being in a relationship and you want to become a GM. But I do believe that some people are just natural shooters. I think people become great shooters by working hard in the aspect of sport, right? I don't know how many of us practice, tactical things every day, which I very much doubt that people practice tactical things, but that doesn't mean you can't think tactical, right? If you want to try to apply this stuff. But I don't advise everybody to apply it if you don't have to use it in life, but for, protecting your home and things like that, you should definitely have a plan. But I'm just rambling because I'm cleaning these guns, but it's just something I've been thinking about lately. I just want to know what people may think about just being natural, good at the movements, good at the aiming, good at the shooting, and you just get quality scores. Or, you just, maybe you're the best one in your group. Maybe somebody works way harder than you spend less time on it, but it just seems like they just a slight step behind, until they pass you, depending on who they are. And especially for the old guys, we use our noggins, and the young guys use their legs. What I would do to have started this 20 years ago. But that's neither here nor there. They still got to see me on the battleground in competition. But that's just a quick thought that I had in my head. And, let's talk about it. Gypsy Man, and I'm out.